LA City Mayor. Mayor Karen Bass. Would a Mayor Bass improve the lives of the people in the city? No. Would a Mayor Caruso make people's lives significantly worse than Mayor Bass?
All right.
Almost certainly.
So they agree with you.
Yes. Listen, I'll just keep it $150 with you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you make less than $300,000 a year, if you don't own multiple real estate properties, do not vote for Mayor Caruso because he is not for you.
Yeah.
He is going to make it so that the very same things that created the housing crisis in this city continue to thrive. He is going to make the problem much, much worse. And maybe in the short term, he will do sweeps and he will brutalize homeless people, maybe kill a couple homeless people, maybe push them aside as he kills a couple homeless people, while simultaneously making more homeless people. It will literally be like America's invasion of Afghanistan, where the Taliban numbers keep fucking growing. Why? Because you're not fixing the problem.
Yeah.
You're making it worse.
His plan is literally, and this is on his website, he wants to make homeless people, he wants to concentrate them in camps in the desert. And he was literally like, what about in Palmdale? That's not even part of LA City, so God knows how you could even get another place to agree to do that. But that's literally his plan.
Which, by the way, for wealthy liberals, they're like, well, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, let's fucking push them away from the cities.
That's what right-wingers or liberals who are right-wing on this issue say. They say, why do they got to build the shelters here? There's so much empty land in the desert. You're talking about internment camps. You're talking about, you know.
He wants to concentrate them in camps. Just think about what that means, and you will understand what he is saying and what he's trying to do. Yeah. Which, by the way, even if you do not care about homeless people because you're fucking terrified, because you don't think that they're human beings, because you're a psycho that watches too much fucking local news, that doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because there isn't a finite amount of homeless people that are just homeless, and now that's it. You know, you capture all of them like Pokemons, and then you put them in a fucking concentration camp. You've solved the problem. That's not how that works, because every day there's another person that is being priced out of the housing market.
Yeah.
So if you don't solve the legitimate issue, the underlying problem, you're just going to have more homeless people.
Yeah.
And it can be you as well, for the record.
There is also no mechanism to force someone to stay in a shelter if you order them to. Like, people are free to leave. So, like, that entire idea of what if we just make people go in the shelters? It's not legal to do that. It's unconstitutional.
But that's why liberals turn fascist so quick when they're like, yeah, but you should.
Like, LA has been pursuing that exact policy the entire time. That's all LA has ever done. And all it's led to is LA being fined massively by the judicial system for violating people's civil rights. They've paid tens of millions of dollars in penalties over this shit. It's been found unconstitutional over and over again by, like, not the Supreme Court, but like every level of court below that. And it's so counterproductive to try to do that.
Yeah. And shelters are not a good solution to this problem. Anyone who has ever worked with homeless people will tell you this. Shelters are temporary. Yeah. Okay? You need permanent housing. You need a housing-first approach. Los Angeles
you need to do everything.
And the state of California, unironically, has claimed that they're going to do good things about dealing with the homeless problem. They say that they have a major budget for it. Yeah. And yet I see a lot of those initiatives being held up. Utilizing hotels like the what was it called? The key turnkey.
Oh God, now I'm blanking on it. Home Key Project. What the hell was
Project
it?
Home Key? Project Room Key.
Project Room Key. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of initiatives that people keep saying that they are going to engage in.
Can we talk about Measure ULA for a second? Because I know it's jumping ahead. But Measure ULA is a measure, LA city measure. I tweeted about it. You retweeted me. And to solve homelessness, you need to do everything possible, right? You need to create more housing. You need to keep people in their homes. You need to build permanent supportive housing for unhoused folks. You also do need some number of shelters. You need more shelters. You need to shut up the NIMBYs who don't want them there. You need to do all of the above. Measure ULA is this measure that, here's what it would do. It would tax all sales of real estate that's over $5 million. So any gigantic mansion, any fucking Target that's getting sold from one person to another, they tax the sale on 4 to 5%. The seller pays it. So the person who's making a profit sells it. You know, if you're fucking Jeffrey Epstein and you're selling your giant mansion, you pay a 4% tax. That money would get put into a whole bunch of shit.
Wait, hold on. What?
Housing.
What did you say? Wait, I'm sorry. What? You said people with big houses are going to be taxed? Wait, hold on.
Is your house?
Rick
your
Caruso's looking pretty good right about now. Am I right, boys?
Dude, your house you got shit for your house, and it's not even over that threshold. At least I don't think it is. I don't know how housing prices are going here, but
yeah. Wait, what is
so
it
that
isn't.
tax would go into not just building new housing, buying disused hotels and turning them into affordable housing, direct assistance to renters to keep them in their homes. All of this, it's an all of the above approach, and it would be administered by like a civilian oversight board. So it's like trying to do everything all at once, rather than just sweeping people away, which is never going to work. If people elect Rick Caruso, it's going to be one of those things where the right-wingers in the city declare victory even as things continue to get worse, because all they want to see is the homeless people punished. They will not see less people on the street, but they will see a lot of, holy shit, look, the cops beat up some homeless people today.
Yeah, no, they're going to see sweeps. That's what they're going to see sweeps as homeless people. And this is already happening. So it's like, this is already happening under a quote-unquote liberal establishment, right? Yeah. So what is currently happening, and I can tell you this because, like, I live in West Hollywood. I've seen it in my personal life and my personal experiences. Yeah. They will come in, they will do a sweep, they will kick the homeless people out of the street. They throw all their
possessions in the trash.
They throw all their possessions in the trash, and then all of the homeless people that are now kicked away from that corner will quite literally move to the next corner.
Yeah, they'll go across the street.
Yeah.
I volunteer with a group called CELA. We do homelessness outreach. And so, especially during 2020, 2021, I was going out every single week. And I would just see people move across the street. They'd be like, yeah, they're sweeping this tomorrow. We're going to go over there. See you there next week. Because, like, it doesn't, like, the angry neighbors are like, oh, good, they came with the bulldozers. Yeah, my phone call made a difference. And nothing happens. Nothing changes. Except that the people who are homeless fall deeper into homelessness because they lost all their medications. They lost their ID. They lost their housing voucher. They lost their cell phone. All the little bits of stability that they use to try to, like, claw their way up the ladder of getting inside, which is like a multi-month process, no matter how fast-tracked you are. They lose all of that, and then they're like sleeping under a blanket somewhere, and they have to like slowly scrabble together the basics of shelter.
Yeah, you're basically making it harder for them to reintegrate into society and to eventually have shelter, permanent shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every homeless person is trying to be not homeless. They're working on that project.
There's a lot really here hard. with Caruso, by the way. Like, I love that, you know, this person does not talk about Bass that much. Like, you know, there's a community coalition. Anyway, both campaigns are funded by billionaires, obviously, of course. Los Angeles, classic. You know, I'm one of the billionaires.
Katzenberg has poured tons of money into her campaign. He's a really malign force in politics. But, I mean, at least he's going against Caruso because he's like, I want to be the fucking big billionaire running the city.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Caruso. That's why he's doing it.
He's like, I want to be the one doing the sweeps.
There was a thing
not
where
Caruso.
In 2021, Katzenberg got mad about, he's the Quibi guy, if you don't remember.
Yeah.
He got
another brilliant billionaire who makes really wise financial decisions, which, by the way, I think he like also was a part of the funding round for the Young Turks, which is why everyone always fucking says like TYT is like owned by Katzenberg or whatever the fuck. But like, yeah, brilliant decision there. Definitely even better decision when he did the Quibi thing.
Yeah. So he got mad about homelessness, and then he just took meetings with all the different like city council people, including Nuri Martinez, whose voice was on that city council tape and was recently booted. He took meetings with them, and no one knows what he said, but then literally like 2 days later, they introduced a bill called 4118, which introduced sweeps. So he just told them, I'm going to donate to your campaigns if you guys come up with a new legal mechanism to sweep homeless people away. And they did it because he's a billionaire. Like, it was so obvious in the press what had happened. He fucking sucks ass.
Meanwhile, I am not funded by Jeffrey Katzenberg. I'm funded by you, the chatters, who fund me at the top of the hour with a $5 a month subscription. I'm going to run an ad break right here with a 1-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, if you want an uninterrupted broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Boom.
Excellent work.
Thank you. We do. We get. They rate my ad break segue if I surprise them or shock them with a good segue.
And then there's a bot here.
Yeah, there's a bot that literally compiles it and then and spits out a number. Lurker Christ. Joan, thank you for the 10 gifted. Sohei Bozo, thank you for the 5 gifted. Ardowen, thank you for the 5 gifted. And Motor Biber, thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
Oh yeah.
This is the guy from Adam Ruins Everything. No, this is a different guy.
Fuck.
No.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I just look a little bit like that. My name's Clem.
Yeah, we that Adam guy, we don't like that guy. That guy sucks, dude. This is a way cooler guy than him. Yeah, this is Adam Fixes Everything.
I like to think I've changed.
How about that?
Since,
how about Adam Fixes Everything?
People tell me that all the time.
Yeah, no, you're a big ruiner.
People are like, I've got a great idea for you. You should do this. How about Adam Fixes Everything? Like, I've thought of that.
Yeah.
It has come up before.
Okay, so city mayor.
Yep.
The idea of someone buying the mayoral race for himself is especially concerning. Extremely wealthy people spending their money exerting influence. Yada yada. Typical American shit. Caruso, also known as Mr. Grove, which, by the way, literally there is a Caruso Boulevard inside of the Grove. For those of you who don't know, it is a monstrosity, an open-air mall. It is a major tourist spot. I fucking hate it. I despise it.
You know what? You know why people like to go to it? Just to bring it back to what we were talking about, walkable cities and public transportation. The reason people like it is it is a little mini walkable city.
Yeah.
You walk in there, it looks like you're in fucking Venice
there's public
or
transit.
Downtown.
There's a tram. There's a tram in there.
There's a tram.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, look, the Apple store, the fucking Sweet Green. Let's sit down and have a salad. Like, it feels like you're in some weird Disneyland version of Brooklyn or something. And it's absolutely revolting but he wants to build that as a private place. You have to go. You have to drive there, pay $50 to park in order to have the experience that people who live in walkable cities have every single day of their lives. It's perverse.
Yeah, while simultaneously undermining every fucking move towards public transit.
Yeah. Because the main thing about Caruso is, look, he's going to do what he wants. He's also going to be in the pocket of suburban white homeowners associations, which are really the most conservative NIMBY forces in California. The Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association, look this organization up. This just homeowners association is one of the most politically powerful groups in the city and is responsible for segregation, for lack of public transit, for low density, which leads to lack of public transit. And that is who he is going to serve. And those people are going all out for him.
But for the record, that's literally every mayor in every major city. True. They're not ideologically bound to anything, and they're just basically, unless they're like Rick Caruso, who literally are the manifestation of a homeowners association and a singular person, unless they're like that, they are basically like corporate interests, homeowners associations, real estate developers, and police unions in a trench coat. Okay? They have no opinion of their own. They have no interest in solving any of these fucking problems. They just are trying to balance those forces, which are always in unison because they all have the same exact interests of protecting capital. And their goal is basically to just massage those ideas and those policies in. While simultaneously everything gets worse and worse.
But that's why we need to build power, because it's like the homeowners associations are powerful just because they're organized, they donate money, they turn out the votes. Guy who runs a Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association just has 100,000 people on his fucking mailing list. That's the power, and so we need to build the power to combat that. And that's what I try to spend my time doing.
Yeah. So. He's registered. He only registered Democrat here. Caruso, Mr. Grove, only registered Democrat in January, weeks before announcing his mayoral run. His campaign has attracted paid far-right extremists who were involved in anti-vaccine and anti-abortion demonstrations. Yeah. Prior to running, he stated he opposes abortion in most cases and has donated millions to anti-choice candidates. During the primary, he paid $25K to LA Magazine to publish a story written by his campaign and flooded the internet with targeted ads. Oh my God, impossible to avoid.
Yeah.
An open letter from student group, the Trojan Democrats, alleges that Caruso helped cover up sexual violence. It's not the only scandal he swept under the rug. While serving as USC's chairman of the board, his leadership approach would be disastrous for Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay? Caruso and Bass have largely focused on the same key issues, at least when Caruso is taking a break from trying to convince people that he's Latin. First of all, I don't appreciate that. I think that is the one positive, okay? I'm calling balls and strikes.
Whoa, hold
He's
on.
Italian. He's Italian X, okay? He is. And people need to stop undermining him for being a POC like this.
But that's a joke there, right? But this is true. One of the dynamics in the race is that Caruso is running really hard for conservative Latinos in LA, and that is a big part of his base. And a lot of it is like, people joke, his name ends in an O, but like that is who he is running to win based off of. And it's
and
like
if we've
possible.
Seen, and if you've seen anything about the LA City Council meetings, there are plenty of conservative Latinos in positions of power in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Yeah, Anyway, okay. I'll cover the homelessness policies first because the unhoused will be more greatly impacted by the race than any other group. Both candidates propose appointing a homelessness czar, declaring a state of emergency, and demanding federal dollars to create more housing. Unfortunately, the city recently returned $150 million of the federal government that was meant for housing the unhoused.
And the reason they do this, it's infuriating. They've done this a couple of times. And the reason is because politically they don't want to do it, because they don't want to piss off like the affluent homeowners in their neighborhoods, because if they spent the money, they'd have to fucking build something. And people don't want them to build anything.
Yeah.
Like that's the most... Don't build a shelter. Don't build permanent housing.
It's not even just that.
Homeless people. No, then there won't be.
Yeah. California has an $80 billion budget surplus, and Gavin Newsom, as the governor, has said routinely that like a big proportion of that was going to be utilized on housing first policies or housing to address the demand in the state.
Yeah.
Okay. None of that has happened, and that is because when you want to do Project Turnkey, for example, which is supposed to reappropriate unused hotels as permanent shelter, okay, they don't want to do that because then the fucking, the hospitality lobbies are going fucking crazy and saying, absolutely not. We are not doing that. You are ruining our fucking Project Roomkey. Sorry. You're ruining our fucking profit margins. No one else will ever want to use our hotel ever again if there's homeless people in there. Okay. Yep. So that's one aspect. If you want to try and actually build new housing, nobody wants housing to be built in their neighborhood because that's going to lower property values when there's more inventory available. It's also going to lower the property value while the construction is happening, right? So that's it. ETF just got hit. Emergency. What? Sometimes we have just weird shit like this happen in the chat. Or just
what
like
TTEF.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, hopefully TTEF is okay.
Yeah. So let's continue. They hit the fucking Pentagon. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Today and Tomorrow Foundation. What? Where's the E then? Okay, let's continue. Most of Bass's messaging, which is supposed to be the progressive candidate, prioritized removing visible homelessness rather than presenting a plan for permanent supporting housing, which is precisely what the current liberal establishment is doing here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, look, there are folks in our city council and who are going to be elected this cycle who like actually know how to address homelessness. Those folks have been working really hard on Bass. I know that personally. Like right when she announced, they were like, "Look, you're our person. Here's how to actually solve homelessness. You need to get on board with this." And she has made enough like gestures towards them that I'm like, again, I think this is going to be a marginal improvement that she's like open to listening to this shit. But yes, her messaging has not been as good as it should be on it.
Yeah, because I have no belief that she is going to be good. I'll say
I don't think that she individually is going to be good. I think that like literally, so Nithya Raman was elected in 2020. She is now the chair of like the poverty and homelessness committees in the city council, and she actually gets it. She's like founded a homelessness group. Like she in her district, the district I live in, her workers go around and work with people one-on-one to get them into permanent housing, and they've had incredible success. They've cleared encampments not because the cops came, but because they went to people and worked with them for months.
Yeah, Nithya, you're talking about Nithya, right?
Nithya, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she is like she is all about that. She has building power in the city council to take that approach.
You should watch some
local. She endorsed Bass really early, specifically to get Bass on board with here's how to properly do this. And there's a chance it might kind of work. That's all. I'm trying to be optimistic.
You should watch some local news coverage on Nithya. If you want to get a better perspective of like what Los Angelinos are hearing about Nithya, who is, you're right, against all odds, like legitimately has been pretty successful.
Yeah.
And yet, first of all, Cinemarxism, shut the fuck up. You're an anarchist. Your opinion doesn't matter. Okay. Here, just take a day off. Jesus Christ. Just the most annoying, anarchist. Okay. So why are you voting? Why are you voting? You're an anarchist. You just do mutual aid. You just keep doing mutual aid. Okay.
Cool.
But the business owners in like Sherman Oaks are like, Nithya is treating homeless people like they're humans, and that's fucked up.
Yep.
So,
but she beat a recall attempt. She's and by the way, with all the clearing out in the city council, with like all the people on that racist tape, one resigned, and the other two getting marginalized. Like she's in a position to like gain a lot of power there. And so, from a perspective of building power, like, you know, things are. I feel positively about the way things are moving in that direction. And like. Look, Bass doesn't get it herself, but all you can do is work on her, right? That is the option that you have. Is like, look, she's not perfect, right? She's not even good on the issue, but you go to her really early. You say, I'm going to support you with my giant political base of progressives in my district if you can work with me on this issue and try to extract that from her and just keep working on her every single day. That's like all that you can do if you actually want to build political power rather than just bitch about it.
The thing that I am fearful about, like Measure ULA is good, right? But the thing that I'm fearful is that like even if the mansion tax gets pushed through, right, and you get 1.1 billion annually for affordable housing construction, rent subsidies, and tenant defense, like I hope that we actually use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it could get held up in court or something like that. But there's a whole bunch of shit in it about like it is going to be administered by housing experts, by like a civilian commission they're putting together. The problem with Proposition HHH, which was passed a couple years ago to build permanent affordable housing, was that it was, or permanent supportive housing, was that it was the politicians were in charge of figuring out where to build it, and they didn't want to build it anywhere because they don't want to piss off any of the affluent people who hate them. So that should hopefully be the difference with ULA, but we'll have to see in the implementation because ULA was written by like the ACLU, by Unite Here, by like all the different unions, by housing groups, and we'll have to see. They wrote a perfect proposition. We have to see what happens once it actually is enacted. It has a good chance of getting enacted though because the city of LA. There were a bunch of big housing measures that failed on the state level, but passed in the city because the city is actually pretty progressive on the issue.
Okay.